This is for 8-7, operations with scientific notation. So we're going to find the sum or difference. So for this first example, we're going to find the sum, and we can do this because we have the same power of 10. So we can go ahead and use the distributive property, right? So basically we're reversing the distributive property, and we're going to go ahead and do, sorry about that, switch that over. We are going to do 3, the quantity of 3 6/10 plus 9 3/5, or 9 35/100, all right, times 10 to the second power. And that's using the distributive property, all right? So then we're going to go ahead and add that. So we get 12 and 95/100 times 10 to the second power. Now we need to then change, because we need to get this into scientific notation. So we're going to take 12 and 95/100. We're going to change that to 1.295 times 10 to the first power times 10 to the second power. And now we can then use our product of powers property and 1.295. And then 10 to the first power times 10 to the second power is 10 to the third power. So for example 2, you have 6 5/10 times 10 to the negative fourth minus 8 4/10 times 10 to the negative fifth. So what we're going to do here is we're going to rewrite one of these numbers as the same power of 10, because if we don't have the same power of 10, we can't do this. So we're going to rewrite 8 4/10, and we're going to rewrite that so we get it to become a number that is the same power of 10. So we need to get it to 10 to the negative 4, 10 to the negative fourth power, right? So we're going to rewrite that as 8.4 times 10 to the negative first times 10 to the negative fourth. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to do this part of the multiplication so that we end up with 0.84 times 10 to the negative fourth. And now we're going to use that, we're going to put that back into the problem. So we now have, we rewrite the problem, 6.5 times 10 to the negative fourth minus 0.84 times 10 to the negative fourth. So when we add and subtract, we have to have that same power. So now we're going to take that and we are going to use the distributive property and solve it just like we did the first one. So 6.5 minus 0.84 times 10 to the negative fourth, and we get 5 66/100 times 10 to the negative fourth. So go ahead and do these two try-its, and then pause the video, and then see if you get it right. Correct any mistakes you make. And here are the answers for the two try-its. Notice you have to do the conversion at the beginning. You might have done it the other way, it doesn't matter, but you need to make sure you end up with the same powers of 10. All right, moving down, we need to use scientific notation with multiplication and division. So we're going to use the associative property on this because it's all multiplication, so we can just rewrite it in the order that we want. And we're going to put this as 4 times 8 times 10 to the third times 10 to the negative fifth. 4 times 8 is 32 times 10 to the second, 10 to the negative second, sorry. And then we're going to change this to 3.2 times 10 to the first times 10 to the negative second. And then that becomes 3.2 times 10 to the negative